So that brings me to one of my other questions, and that's about an umbrella liability policy. Can you explain what that is and why you probably want one?
In Florida, the biggest risk we have with investors and landlords owning properties is liability claims. And when I'm talking about roof claims earlier, or water claims being $40,000, even the $100,000 roof, you don't want to know how much liability claims are. They are six figures, usually minimum. And guess what? If you don't have enough insurance coverage or you don't have enough money in your back pocket, again, your investment property probably doesn't have a loan on it, number one. Number two is it's not protected under homestead. They can literally take your home. Now you can say, well, I have an LLC and I'm protected, the corporate veil, all that. If you talk to any good attorney, they'll say that's pierceable. Corporate veil it's to a degree a myth. They can still take that property from you. They will wind up, and when attorneys see stuff like that and they see, okay, well, Jeff, you got 5 investment properties. You're a target for them. They love you. You are their best. Your tenants are their best clients. Anybody coming on that property is your best clients. Because we've even had situations where, tenant loses his job, landlord goes to evict it. Guess what? The tenant slipped and fell in the shower. Hey, you put in the tile, Jeff, in the shower wrong during the renovation. You caused my client's injury. Now we're suing you. We're suing your insurance policy. And guess what? You can't evict my tenant either. So we've seen situations like that. Again, liability claims are huge. So when you're looking at screening your tenants, number one, when they have stuff like dogs, if they're like, I'm going to have a golf cart on the property, an ATV on the property, I just say, you're setting yourself up for probably a 6-figure settlement, probably getting close up to $700,000 in those situations. We've seen, unfortunately, I hate to say this, we've seen babies drown in pools. We have seen people killed on ATVs, golf carts, and properties. We have seen people shot. We've had properties where people have been murdered on in South Florida. We have had everything to happen. At the end of the day, the landlord is ultimately responsible for everything that happens on that property. And you wouldn't believe the amount of investors out there don't even carry landlord insurance, and they don't require that their renters carry insurance. When you require that your tenants carry higher limits of insurance, you create this barricade between you even having to use your own insurance. We've even had claims where they didn't require renters insurance, house flooded, $50,000 worth of furniture damage. The landlord wound up having to pay for it when they went to court. So you're ultimately responsible. So when you have an umbrella policy, it is so critical. The $300,000 does not go a long ways in with these average lawsuits getting up closer to $700,000 and above, even 7-figure settlements. You're talking about an umbrella for that. You may even pay $250 a year just to have that peace of mind. I was explaining sidebar. I was explaining to a client yesterday because he asked me, what does this umbrella do? And he had a huge umbrella claim. I go, it is a get out of jail free card that you're probably going to use one time. The company's probably going to non-renew it. And you're probably going to wind up with a 7-figure settlement out of court that the insurance paid for, and you paid $250 for that policy. Thank God you have it. I don't know if we can ever insure you again after that, but it got you out of jail once. And the more properties you have with pools and stuff like that, your risk just go through the roof. And it used to be just South Florida. I mean, South Florida was notorious for these liability claims. We started seeing probably a decade ago, starting hitting Kissimmee. Davenport was huge. In Orlando, now it doesn't matter where you are. If you're a landlord, your biggest issue is not the roof, is not anything else. It is liability and being sued by even your own tenants. Because even though if you're a property manager, you have only so much control. You can't tell your tenants how do you know your tenant's not going to have somebody who's going to come over and overdose on drugs on your property? You have no control over that. You need to have some form of control. And guess what? You need to have not $300,000. You need to insure for a wrongful death lawsuit is what you need to insure for. That will help you sleep at night.
So just to clarify and recap, general or liability is the risk of someone getting hurt on your property. And
Bodily
most,
injury or death, correct.
so bodily injury or death on your property, and it may not even matter how it happened. They could have been drunk and partying on the roof. Wasn't your fault. They were stupid. Now they're dead. And now somebody's going to sue somebody and you own the property. So you're going to get named in the lawsuit. And now,
Absolutely.
step two, your homeowners insurance, your DP3 policy is probably going to have a $300,000 limit. In most cases, they won't give you any more. Is that correct?
Correct. They're going to go up to about $300,000. And it's really a handshake of where I like to look at it as a handshake of where the insurance company says enough is enough. We can't handle this anymore. We're going to go look at the umbrella as almost like reinsurance, but they don't want to pick up something that's not going to frivolous. So are umbrella claims less common than liability claims? Absolutely. But you got to remember the umbrella claim is for usually a higher, something that is going to involve permanent injury or death. But permanent injury, you got to remember in Florida to cross the tort threshold, it's permanent injury and permanent scarring. So whether, and I've seen this literally, the 1-inch scar that I got on my cheek, is that worth $1 million? Did Mike have a modeling career in his future? Hey, if I got an attorney to argue the case, that could happen.
And so then step three is, okay, you've got a $300,000 limit on your homeowner's insurance, and that's not enough because if somebody does fall off the roof and break their neck, it's quickly going to exceed $300,000. And so you have a secondary insurance policy, which covers not just that property, it covers all your properties. In some cases, it may even cover your own home. Right. It's an umbrella policy that protects you against somebody getting hurt or permanently injured on anything that you own.
Absolutely.
And so if you don't have an umbrella policy, call Mike.